Hello everyone and welcome to this review of Altered Carbon Episode 3, In a Lonely Place. Now, the focus of this episode was around a party with Bancroft, and I thought that part, well obviously it was the main part, but it was still really a fascinating element of the show as it shows the life of the super rich, how they interact and how they're essentially almost desensitized to actions that we would, and probably people on the ground, the poorer people, would consider repulsive or abhorrent. Particularly things like blood sports, and they were eating out of the body of a tiger, which I know it's kind of a sad thing to say, but they probably wouldn't be if there's some sort of dystopian future. I'm surprised there are tigers around, but then again they are cloning, so I assume they were eating a tiger. That's my assumption anyway. But before we actually get to the party itself, there is some little bits that at the beginning of the show they showed like a flashback, and it showed about colonies and stars, and they was talking about this minor story with like this patchwork man who eventually turns out is quite linked to like an abuser of their mother, who seemed like he's the one who brought them into the settlement. So it was just in a way we did see Kovacs' sister, but obviously the main actress who plays the adult version, we haven't seen her as of yet. There was sort of like a ghost appearance in the first episode, but still nothing as of yet to that. So our next proper scene, it's Kovacs. He's obviously having a shower, and once he gets to the shower, Poe tells him about an invitation and about the hack, and he's got like this little like bug thing. That's quite interesting. I do quite like how Poe is. He seems to get nervous and very much keen to please. They're selling quite well the idea that the AIs are desperate to please and they'll do whatever their guests want. And considering he probably hasn't, well, considering he has said that he hasn't had a guest for 50 years, he's probably going to try a bit harder than normal. Now this is an invitation he gets to the ball or party. Let's just call it ball since it's probably a more fancy term. And, Lawrence actually tries to get hold of him because of the responders, so he must have had that invitation for sometimes. He does say a few hours, so he must have been sleeping, so that's why he hasn't responded. Obviously, one is super rich, just doesn't really want to wait, does he? And there's also Ortega has to go because she's always been causing a bit of a fuss, but I don't know why Prescott wants her to go. I don't know if it's trying to buy her favour or discredit her somehow, but I'm not sure about that one. We saw Elliot in the last episode, and Kovacs is now recruiting him basically to be his backup, which I thought was quite nice how he got about that, because we were getting little flashbacks of envoy training and how they're going to use people. I did quite like that part where they were explaining how you create his army. Very nicely done. I know sometimes they seem quite often, but it's quite simple technique and it seems to work quite well. But the way he essentially buys Elliot's favour is through trying to repair his daughter, because obviously his daughter's stack is damaged or corrupted, and he's going to use Poe to try and help her, which seems to be working after a little bit, but it is quite a way to go. And there was like a nice little scene I quite liked when they went to see their weapons. They only got this weapon, which when he fires a shot, after a similar time, it pops back into his gun. Or I'm not sure if it pops back, but it's like recoil or something like that, which is quite a nice scene. But I think, Lizzie mentioned something about her mother being stuck in some sort of spin cycle, which I suspect that's going to be brought up later on. It's only a little scene. Yeah, so things, little mysteries I quite like to get up to. Now, in the party itself, I thought it was quite an interesting look at things. I mentioned the tiger before, but it was also about how Bancroft's son has been kind of a disappointment for the father and is getting drunk and annoying his, call them clients perhaps, or business partners. And then Kovacs is trying to restrain him, and it's quite funny, a bit of discipline, and they're not happy about it. I'd expect him to act properly, but they sort of reveal that he's been aged up. He should be actually a younger body, and I think it's a way of trying to keep him in control. Then afterwards you find out Miriam Bancroft, his wife, isn't actually there. It turns out it's actually one of the daughters. He's actually using her body, or the upgraded body, to have sex with one of the guests, which is quite an odd revelation, but that's quite interesting. So it could be like, even though you see the body, it's probably the first good you could have people's bodies, but different people in those, like they're stacked in a different body, which is pretty good. We do get that little clip of like the unknown spy, which I'm not exactly sure who he's working for, but that's another little detail to be checked on later on. But you know, he's been in a couple of scenes, and I do think he's probably the guy who killed Kovacs in a previous life. That's my suspicion. Hopefully it's right, and I'll see that character again soon enough. And then we do get like this scene of a character called Clarissa. He seems to have made a suggestion for Bancroft to pick up Kovacs. And then we're getting like multiple scenes of the clients or the other party members are showing off things, and they're showing a scene where one of the guests has put a human in a snake and shows that they got mad. So there's some sort of error of the stack where you're not supposed to put them in an animal, and if you put them in an animal, the person just goes mad because they can't process it, which is, well, it doesn't happen to one of our characters, because that'd be quite depressing. But also get a scene where Bancroft essentially shows off Kovacs, which shows that he is basically just a toy for Bancroft, and just mentions about there's difference between someone who's purchased and the purchased and purchaser. Then we get this little interesting 3G fight, zero gravity fight, which we'd seen a bit in the trailers. It was nice little thing. I don't think we'll get more of it. I don't guess we'll get that more of it. Probably not, but it was nice little interest. I do like these different sort of scenes you don't get normally. Kovacs basically has to win because obviously he's combat training and all that. With Ortega basically stopping the fight by shooting off, I think it was the control panel. But Bancroft actually warns Kovacs about his wife, like doesn't want him to fuck her, but it's a bit late for that, don't you think? Not quite, you should have got there beforehand, said that beforehand. Later on we get some more scenes with Kovacs, basically after the part where Kovacs is going back to the brothel, and the worker who he talked to before ejects him, and then you get the attackers of the second episode. They arrive and take him away to some sort of unknown location. So yes, that was a pretty good episode. A lot of stuff happened at the party, which I probably didn't get into all of it really, but I thought, yeah, it was pretty good. I'm quite liking these little slow builds. Looking forward to the next episode and see, well, what's happened to Kovacs and what's going to happen next. So thank you for listening, and please subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.